Greetings, everyone. It has been a while. I know. Haven't really had too much reason to do video content, and most of the other pieces that I've been doing have been more investigative and blog related, so naturally they went on the blog. But today is a special day. Reason being is I've had 3 teas in my possession for a while now that have demanded exploring, but I've kept putting it off because that exploration I thought would take a long time. Not as long as I thought, especially considering the explanation I would have to give can basically be wrapped up in the same length as a tweet. These are 3 teas from a garden located on the Black Sea coast of Georgia near the resort town of Chakvi. And what's unique about these is the fact that they share a similar terroir and a similar growing region profile as a growing region to the south and a growing region to the northeast of this particular area. This area is almost dead center on the east coast of the Black Sea. But the palladial notes from a prior tea that I had from this garden sort of matched the palladial profiles of teas from the northwestern region and the southern region that I mentioned earlier. And that is a sort of malted raisin, sweet stone fruit profile. And I wanted to see wherein those notes change per growing season. And lucky for me, the one who actually brought this garden to my attention, Peter Jones of the Trident Booksellers and Cafe in Boulder, Colorado, he just happened to have 3 teas that were made in 3 different flushes, growing seasons from this particular garden. One in May, one in June, July, and one in August. So basically, whatever their equivalent is to first flush, second flush, and third flush, even though I don't know if the Caucasian mountain range, Black Sea coast growing seasons actually match up the same way as they do with Sri Lankan, Indian, and Chinese growing seasons. Probably similar, but because of climate differences and terroir differences, they probably don't start at around the same time or end at the same time. But they are roughly the same as far as flushes go. And the growing region that I mentioned that's to the south of this Georgian resort town is the Turkish tea growing region called, I believe the pronunciation is Rize, R-I-Z-E. I used to call it Rise, but I think someone corrected me on that. But my Occidental mind usually will go with the phonetic pronunciation, but I believe it's Rize. Chakvi, I believe, is the correct pronunciation for this Georgian resort town. And I know for a fact that the one that's to the northwest is pronounced Sochi. And there are a few Russian gardens that are around that resort town. And the palladial profiles of the Russian teas that I've had, and I've had I've lost count of how many teas I've had from Russian gardens. Point being is that they have that same malted raisin profile, and no other Georgian garden I've ever had has that profile except for this Black Sea coastal garden. And now I'm just going to see how those notes may alter as far as their growing year goes. And I'm really excited because I've not tried these yet. I've only smelled the bags. I haven't actually sipped them. The May tea, I smelled it. I just did an aromatic analysis mere seconds ago, or mere minutes ago. Yeah, we're 5 minutes in now. And yeah, it's like grapes choked by licorice. The June, July one is like grapes choked by hydrangeas or hydrangea roots, and then dipped in malt. And the And the third, the August flush, which I noted the leaves were actually more cut than the wholer leaf pieces, more whole leaf pieces in the May and the June, July batches. And I believe that has to do with the fact that the growing regions are coming to a close. They need to just put something out for their last hurrah. And more often than not, it's more to the processing is more to emphasize quickness of brew and brisker brew. As far as I know, at least that's how it is in Darjeeling. And I'm just going off of that based upon my experience and expertise. Anyway, enough blathering from me. Time to dip into tasting. May. Yep, that is exactly as floral on the forefront, and then it goes into that sort of malted, raisiny profile in the top note, and then dives into this sort of earthen stone fruit, mildly citrus profile toward the finish. June, July. Roughly the same as far as palladial profile as the May, but the body is, I'm stomping my foot a lot, the body is a lot thicker. The mouthfeel is a lot thicker. I would say it has a full mouthfeel, but a full mouthfeel, I would usually say that it just basically coats the mouth. This doesn't coat the mouth, but it does coat the tongue, and the palladial nuances aren't actually further detectable until it gets deeper into the palate. Okay, and then the last one. This one brewed up dark, and as I said, that's probably because the leaf cut was smaller and the pieces were smaller, thus giving it more surface area to brew, and so it probably brewed up quicker. Not probably, it did brew up quicker and therefore darker, even though I brewed all of them for 3 minutes, and each one was 2 grams of leaf for 3 minutes. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the video, but I'm mentioning it now. This brewed up just straight up copper. It's like the notes of the first two were there, and the body of the June-July batch was there, but they were sort of turned around because it was as brisk as I expected it would be. Not bitter, and definitely not astringent. None of these are astringent, but that could also be because I brewed them at slightly below boiling, so as to take away a lot of that tannic margin of error, and stick with just the nuances themselves. But this one at least had a sharper profile on the introduction, and then went into the palladial trifecta, but then it kind of turned around, went sweet malty, went back, turned around, went back, turned around, went back. Not only that, but the delivery was almost like it was delivered by a very fast-moving roller coaster. So imagine just buckets of malt being delivered by roller coaster and then going through loops and bounds and picking up palladial notes along the way. If that made any sense. I don't know. Yep, May, louder on the nuances. June, July, more body, thicker mouthfeel. And August was just all those nuances delivered as a punch to the tongue.